वेलकम टू लिबर्टी टॉक। आई एम अरूज कामरान। आज के प्रोग्राम में हम बात करेंगे सब्सिडीज का क्या इफेक्ट होता है हमारे इंपोर्ट्स के ऊपर। पाकिस्तान की हिस्ट्री में देखा जाए तो पाकिस्तानी हुकूमत ने एक्सपोर्ट्स को हमेशा से प्रमोट करने की कोशिश की है। पॉलिसीज इसी मकसद से बनाई जाती हैं कि एक्सपोर्ट्स को सब्सिडाइज करें या उसको पुश करें, और ये सारी चीज़ें फैसिलिटेट हमारी हुकूमत की इंटरवेंशन के साथ हो रहा है। आज के प्रोग्राम में हम बात करेंगे कि एक्सपोर्ट्स पे सब्सिडीज का क्या इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है, चाहे वो एक्सपोर्ट फाइनेंसिंग की सूरत में हो या रिफंड स्कीम्स। मेरे साथ आज मौजूद हैं डॉक्टर गुलाम समद। ही इज अ सीनियर रिसर्च इकोनॉमिस्ट फ्रॉम सेंटर एशिया रीजनल इकोनॉमिक कोऑपरेशन इंस्टीट्यूट। मैं अपनी आज की जो गुफ्तगू का आगाज़ है वो डॉक्टर गुलाम समद से करती हूँ। डॉक्टर गुलाम, काइंडली आप मुझे ये बताएं कि पाकिस्तान में ऐसे कौन से की चैलेंजेस हैं जो हमारी एक्सपोर्ट competitiveness की रास्ते में आते हैं।
Thank you, Roj, for the invitation, and thanks, Prime, again for the invitation. Let me walk you through the, I believe, 4 or 5 key challenges, including others. But if the time allows us, I can discuss in details. But let me, walk you through quickly the 5 important challenges that I can see. That are very that are the challenges that need to be resolved if we go for the export competitiveness. The first one is the product and process innovations. And unfortunately, in the export industry, the both product and process innovation is lagging. And again, I would say, unfortunately, the R&D departments in big industries, those are definitely been there for years there, but their innovation capabilities are very limited. And I don't want again to the details, but you can see, unfortunately, because of this low product and process innovation, we are lagging in the regional integrations. The second biggest challenge for the export competitiveness, I believe, is the regional integration. And if you look in the Pakistan regional integration in the SARC region, as well as in the CAREC region, where currently we have 11 countries, and again, unfortunately, Pakistan regional integration is limited with these CAREC in the SARC region as well. So again, the integration in terms of the value chain is very limited, and that is the second biggest challenge that I can see for the export competitiveness. The third important aspect that I can see is the high import tariffs, and again, both on the raw materials and the intermediate products, and their contribution in the final export is almost 60-70%, which definitely increase the cost of the production. So the export competitiveness again is a big challenge when there's a high import tariffs are there. The fourth one is the input cost, and especially the energy cost. And if we can see regionally, the energy per unit cost, it seems reasonably high, and again is included to the is the one of the challenges for the export competitiveness. And lastly, this whole show is about the subsidies, and the subsidies is again the biggest problem that currently we are facing. Due to subsidies, it distorts the markets, and when the markets are distorted, the competitive markets, I would call them a paradigm or competitive market environment is not developed. In the case of energy, markets is there, and then you can see the rest of the industries are there. So these are some of the biggest challenges that I can see for the export competitiveness in Pakistan.
ठीक है, इन एक्सपोर्ट competitiveness में देखा जाए तो टैक्सेशन का भी काफ़ी इम्पोर्टेंट रोल है। तो आपके हिसाब से टैक्सेशन कैसे एक रोल प्ले कर रहा है एक्सपोर्ट competitiveness को लेकर?
देखिए, the one of the reason that I already mentioned, the high import tariffs on the definitely on the raw materials and on the intermediate products. That is one of the biggest challenge that currently the exporters are definitely facing, and there should be up to some extent the current government in the recent budget document as well, after the rationalization of the tariff, the national tariff policies, again, considering the rationalization of the tariffs. So these are the considerations that definitely are on the table of the government. But still, the implementation is still required, and they are after the rationalization of this tariff regime. But the biggest challenge when we talked about this taxation regime is the uncertain environment that basically belongs to the tax regime in Pakistan. That is, again, one of the biggest challenge for the export competitiveness. And let me give you an example. Like, for example, if you are in the mid of an agreement, and then suddenly the government of Pakistan, with different reasons, change the taxes, the prevailing taxes, and definitely it hurts the underlying export environment. So the uncertainty environment that does exist in Pakistan is one of the biggest challenge that currently, the Pakistan government is facing. So on top of that, the third problem that I can see is, again, and mentioned by the recently by the PIDE and the rest of the the webinar series, unfortunately the imports tariffs in Pakistan, they are used for the revenue generation, rather they should be used for the export competitiveness, for the industrialization purposes. So these are some of the biggest challenges that why the the different kind of schemes or the regimes are not favoring the export markets in Pakistan.
तो इस दफा के बजट में आपने क्या देखा है कि सब्सिडीज कितने हद तक दी गई हैं?
देखिए, in terms of the number, I don't have the number right now, but definitely the subsidies are there to protect, in their term, the consumer welfare up to some extent, and we can see these subsidies in the energy sectors, in some of the other sector as well. So subsidies are still there. And there are different forms of the subsidies, right? You can see these subsidies in terms of the export subsidies. You can see these subsidies in terms of the minimum income support prices. You can see it in the distribution subsidies. And there are like other kind of subsidies as well. So the bunch of subsidies in different form, in different names are still there. The question is, unfortunately, these subsidies are going to distort the market mechanism that, unfortunately, again, not favoring the current export environment in Pakistan.
आपने जैसे बताया कि एक इनसिग्निफिकेंट इम्पैक्ट है सब्सिडीज का मार्केट के ऊपर, तो आपके हिसाब से पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट क्या है मार्केट के ऊपर? क्या पॉजिटिव चीज आपको नजर आती है सब्सिडीज की वजह से?
Right. The one thing that I can see, the positive is in terms of the producer, right? In terms of the producer, the positive is that it increased the producer surplus. So in economics, you have producer surplus and you have consumer surplus. And in between, you are playing between the welfare loss. So whether you go for the consumer welfare loss or whether you go to support the producer. So the first one that I can see from the subsidies positive for the producer is the producer surplus, and definitely for the government, or again in terms of the industries, it increased the revenue for the respective, in a different way for the respective industries. But again, unfortunately, we are compromising on the growth in industrialization. And lastly, again, the positive is there's a support price mechanism. So when you provide a support for these industries, definitely, you can see how they are developing their cartelization, their mafia culture, and they distort the market. But for them, it's a positive, and I can see, contribution in a positiveness is there. But if you weigh it, definitely, it doesn't go in a favor of the consumer.
Don't you think कि जो पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है सब्सिडीज का स्मॉल ट्रेडर्स के ऊपर, वो उनकी सस्टेनेबिलिटी बिल्ड करने के लिए, ताकि वो मार्केट से बिल्कुल वैनिश ना हो जाए? जो कार्टेल सिस्टम हमारी बड़ी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, जो बड़े बिजनेसेस ने बनाया हुआ है, गवर्नमेंट सब्सिडीज छोटी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को, छोटे प्रोड्यूसर्स को इसलिए भी देती है ताकि वो मार्केट में अपनी विजिबिलिटी सस्टेन कर सके.
Now, I agree with you, but if that practice is apply, unfortunately, the purpose is definitely there to protect this industry. But my first question is, like, for how long we have been protecting this industry? Like, if you go in the history of Pakistan, since I would call them like inception, we have been protecting these industries. But currently, as of today, if you go to the value addition component of these industries, it is still regionally very low. So I'm not going to favor, what I mean, like the positiveness or the objective of the government to protect these industries is okay, fine, but unfortunately that practice is not applied there. To give you an example, in Pakistan, we had a study that published by PIDE that the energy subsidies basically end up more in favor of the high income group. Instead of it should land in a poor, I would call them like the should land in a poor favor. But unfortunately, is being there to benefit the rich segment of the society is not going to benefit the poor segment of the society. The same is the case with the industries as well. If you have a power, if you can exploit, definitely you can get the maximum benefits. But unfortunately, the end objective is not achieved. So what I would recommend here for you, that the government, when provided this kind of scheme, this kind of subsidies, it should be time bound, and it should be along with the time bound, it should be very targeted. To give you again another example from the developed world, all these big corporations, the Microsoft, the Amazon, they were small SMEs, right? Along with the environment that was provided by the American government, they utilized the financing resources, and they were bound, they were targeted. And by the end of the day, now they are the big multinational corporations. This is what basically is lagging in Pakistan.
ठीक है, अगर आपने ये बोला कि सिर्फ ये लार्जर बिजनेस के लिए कार्टेल्स इस चीज से फायदा उठा रहे, तो डोंट यू थिंक ये सब्सिडीज हेल्प करती हैं प्रोड्यूसर्स को कि वो अपने यूनिट्स को, अपने प्लांट्स को ज्यादा इम्प्रूव कर सके, अपनी प्रोडक्शन लेवल को इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं, क्वालिटी को इम्प्रूव कर सके? सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक कि सब्सिडीज इस चीज में भी रोल प्ले करती है कि नहीं?
नहीं, I agree with you, right? But the question is again, the producer surplus will increase, but the objective is, along with the producer surplus, in terms of increase their production capabilities by different means. I am with you, but the only problem that as economist I can see is to achieve that benefit, it favor the producers, but it less favor the consumer welfare. I would say even goes, I don't say negative terms, but I can see it. It doesn't go in a favor of the consumers. So I buy your argument that definitely it goes there. It provides supports. The support is there. They increase their the producer welfare. They increase their production. But the end game is different. If you plot the consumer surplus and producer surplus, you can see the deadweight loss. I'm sorry, I'm using the technical word, but clearly it doesn't go in a favor. So in a step, it's there, but the theory is again there. And the practice in Pakistan that we have seen in almost since inception is again there. So if we compare with the Western world, definitely agriculture subsidies in European countries are there, right? But they have a specific time bound, and their specific targets are there. Unfortunately, our case is different from the rest of the world. That is why I'm not favoring the subsidies environment in Pakistan, seeing the whole practice that we applied here in Pakistan.
अच्छा, जैसे आपने कहा कि subsidy schemes, they clearly do not seem to work in Pakistan as compared to all the developed countries. तो फिर भी हम देखते हैं कि ये सब्सिडी स्कीम्स और सपोर्ट और इंसेंटिव है गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से, वो रिटेन किया जा रहा है काफी सालों से, और ये ऐसा क्यों है, ये एनवायरनमेंट क्यों है?
देखिए, we should be very clear the political economy of the subsidies, and especially recently we had this wheat crisis, right? And clearly we can see the subsidies, that why the politicians, right? Why these kind of rich or resourceful people are there after the subsidies, and it's clear, right? Because they have their own stake are there. And if you compare two crops, sugarcane and then the cotton, and again, it was recently one of the knowledge brief, I believe, from PIDE, that they compare that why I call them again mafias, or these big politicians, or you can call them like anyone, why they are favoring the sugar cane instead of the cotton. And the substitution effect between these two is again obvious. Although the water consumption, Pakistan is a water scarce country, the water consumption goes to the sugar cane is much higher than the cotton, especially in the beginning of the, I would call them the germination stage or whatever, the beginning stage of their cultivation. But and thirdly, if you secondly, if you go with the market value or the total contribution in the GDP of the sugar cane as compared to the cotton is again less. Thirdly, in terms of the employment, is again cotton provide more employment. But why the substitution of the land? People are substituting the cotton for the sugar cane, and the reason is again obvious, because they have their different subsidies culture is prevailing there. Although the issue that I mentioned are there, so it's obvious the political economy behind the subsidies is there, and unfortunately, the executives, the legislation failed in Pakistan to deal with this. I would call them the distorted environment in Pakistan to fix it. So this is what I can see in Pakistan. Clearly, in one of our privatization studies recently, we highlighted in Pakistan market capture is there, political capture is there, judiciary capture is there, and unfortunately, when all these political market judiciary captures are there, it's hard that we can get rid of these kind of issues. And again, it's hard to deliver. And again, finally, it's very hard that we can develop a very competitive market environment that really contribute into the growth of Pakistan.
मेरा आखिरी सवाल आपके इसी लास्ट कमेंट से लिंक करता है कि आपने बोला कि डिफरेंट सेगमेंट्स के होने की वजह से मार्केट डिस्टॉर्ट हो रही है, लेकिन अब वे फॉरवर्ड क्या है, हम किस तरीके से मार्केट डिस्टॉर्शन को रोक सकते हैं?
देखिए, before jump into the market distortion thing, let's go for the understanding the export structure in Pakistan. And historically, unfortunately, if we categorize export in the high technology, medium technology, and low technology content, along with the resource based, Pakistan since 70s is still resource based. Their export are resource based, or up to some extent, their exports are low technology contents are there in their exports. So we need to go to the medium and the high tech contribution in the exports, so that at least we can generate the value chain for the export, and we can integrate with the global world. Otherwise, we will be alone, our regional and the global integration will be minimal. This is one thing. We need to study the structure of the export, and then we need to develop more of the technology contents so that we can get a high value addition for the exports. Secondly, we have to get rid of the subsidy driven promotion model. Unfortunately, subsidy driven promotion export promotion model still exists. We have to get rid of these, and the reason that I mentioned with you are obvious. Thirdly, understanding the structure of the export. If you go with the export, the composition in the exports is almost similar. Unfortunately, the diversification in the content of the export composition, we are still there, and limited, I would say, improvement are there, but still we are stuck there. And again, high import contents are still dominant in Pakistan, and if it's still dominant, there's a high tariffs are there. Unfortunately, again, it will increase the cost of the production. That will again affect the export competitiveness. But comes to your point that you raised about how we can get rid of these kind of market captures, and I think you need a very strong regulatory environment in Pakistan. If the regulatory environment does not exist, then definitely you are not going to get rid of these kinds of the issue that I highlighted. Just go and name any organization. For example, OGRA is there, the regulatory organization is there, we have Competition Commission of Pakistan, and you can name it. Unfortunately, their delivery is not there. And even I would call them these institutions are also market captured by the big elites. So the elite capture is again very dominant in these organizations as well. So you have to improve the regulatory environment, and you have to improve the institutional environment. They should deliver. Otherwise, it's not possible that we can get rid of the elite and market and judiciary and political capture in Pakistan.
ठीक है। मैं अब इस सेशन को इस शॉर्ट नोट से एंड करूंगी, जैसे आपने ब्रीफ किया कि लॉन्ग टर्म के अंदर हमारी जो इम्पैक्ट है इंपोर्ट के ऊपर सब्सिडीज की, वो इतनी ज़्यादा नहीं है, लेकिन शॉर्ट टर्म में कुछ देखा जाए तो टू स्मॉल टू सम एक्सटेंट कुछ स्मॉल पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट भी है। लेकिन अगर देखा जाए तो गवर्नमेंट को ज़रूरत है कि वो इवैल्यूएट करे जो डिफरेंट इंसेंटिव्स वो दे रही है एक्सपोर्ट प्रमोशन के अंदर। सबसे पहले उनको स्ट्रक्चर को स्टडी करने की ज़रूरत है। आपको जो ये मॉडल है सब्सिडी एक्सपोर्ट मॉडल, इसको या तो फॉर्मेट करने की ज़रूरत है या फिर इसको बिल्कुल चेंज करने की ज़रूरत है, लेकिन उसके लिए भी हमें ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग रेगुलेटरी इन्वायरमेंट की ज़रूरत है। एंड लास्टली हमारे इंस्टीट्यूशनल इन्वायरमेंट क्या है, ये भी इस चीज़ पे डिपेंड करेगा। Thank you so much, Dr. Ghulam Samad, for contributing to this section.